Hello people, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create this kind of seamless texture out of this photograph. So I'm going to start by opening up that image file I've taken, and I'm starting it by checking out the size of the image, so we can see the dimensions here. So probably I should go with 2K resolution. So to do that, we can adjust the canvas size. So we can go to the pixels, and I want to use 2048 by 2048. So just proceed it, and now we have our layer. So we can move this around, and one more thing is, if you wanna choose different area, you wanna make this seamless, you can just create another layer and just move this beneath it, and you can just adjust the canvas size again like that, and you still can move this image. So we can even scale this down a little bit and find the best place to proceed. So I guess this area is pretty fine. So if you're done, you can choose a selection tool and select the area of the canvas, and you can go to image and crop, and now we're ready. And Control D to deselect, and zoom this in a little bit by pressing Z. And now what I'm going to use is I'm going to offset this image by half of each dimension. So we can go ahead with 1024 by 1024. So now we got this, and we can see clear seams here. So what we can do right now is we can grab our clone stamp tool and scale this thing by pressing Alt and right click, and we can pick the samples by holding Alt, and we can just paint on it. So we can get rid of the seams fairly easily. So you can just pick samples from different places and paint on it. So that's gonna solve the problem. I wanna remove not only the seam but also this kind of noticeable features that can ruin our seamlessness. So I'm gonna go ahead with this clone brush tool, starting from removing that clear seams. Pretty straightforward, just picking samples from different places and just painting on it. So also you should be aware of the colors. If this image has too much contrast on colors, it's gonna ruin the seamlessness. So we can get rid of those big stones or those kind of features that's quite noticeable. For example, that stick over here, can just get rid of that and just try to cover those kind of big stones and everything. I'm gonna make this nice and even and flat because we can add those kind of details with decals or some patches inside of the game engine. So I'm just trying to make this flat and clear the seam. Let's see here. And it's definitely a time-consuming job, so you can skip this part if you want. So yeah, it seems like the clear seams are gone. So now we can offset this again, because by painting on it, we accidentally painted on the edges, so it could be created another seam. So we can look for it. There we go. We can just try to remove the seam. And it seems like we're done. So next thing I want to do is I want to scale the brush up a little bit, and you can see the clear footprint in the middle. So I want to get rid of that, because if we repeat the texture many times and if we look at it from far distance, it's gonna look like a tile. So that's not a very nice looking. So I want to make this nice and even without any features, and just flat but natural. That's what we want. So I'm just gonna paint on it with a similar looking. So I'm just doing it with the clone stamp tool, and maybe we should work on this area. It's a little darker than the upper part, so bring samples from upper part and just paint on it. And you can see those kind of dirt area. I want to just cover those areas with stones. So I guess that's not bad, but I guess there's too many red stones, so that's gonna be not very natural. So I'm gonna get rid of that a little bit. There's too much of them. It's not gonna be that natural, so I'm trying to break that the repetition. So I guess it's not bad. So next step is a color correction. What I want to do is I want to adjust the shadows and highlights to make this look like it's more flat without any contrast. So we can see we are losing contrast, but that's totally fine, because I want to use this map only as a color map. If you want some shadows and contrast and everything, you can add ambient occlusion inside of a game engine and you can easily create it with some tweaks. So now it's pretty nice. So I want to test this out. So let's go to edit and define pattern and hit OK, and we can create new. I want to bigger space, twice times bigger, and we can go to image and maybe edit and fill with the pattern, and we can fill with the pattern we just created. So now there we go. As you can see, the seams are gone, but in the color you can see it looks like a little bit tiling there. So to break that, we can get a big size clone stamp tool and try to get rid of that. You can see those kind of cross looking there. It's a little darker than the other area, so we should work on that. Just pick samples from the light areas and you can just paint on that. And you can go with that even bigger brush. So as you can see now, it's a little more natural there. So if you want a perfection, you can offset this one more time. This time is maybe 2045, 2045, and there's another cross looking there. We can get rid of the shape, just picking samples from light areas and just painting and cover this up. And I'm just doing it a little fast, but you can take your time and get more details and naturalness. And we are about to done. It's much more natural. And if you want, you can offset this again, and now we got this. It's pretty natural. But if you zoom this in a little bit, you're gonna see it's a little blurred out, so we're losing the definition. So what we can do is we can sharpen the image a little bit, so we got more definition there. So I guess that's gonna work. I think I'm happy with this result, and I'm gonna export this thing as PNG. I'm gonna call it ground 4K color and save. And if you want, you can create normal maps or any other maps you want out of it. So I'm gonna be back with this texture applied on materials in Unreal Engine 4. So I'm back with this textures imported, and I also created some extra textures. So let's create a material out of this to test this out. So I'm gonna create a material. I'm gonna call it ground. And there we go. We can just simply select those and drag this in. So now we got those texture samples. Simply we can just connect this thing into base color, and now you can see it. And one more thing, we can have a texture coordinate node to place it repeatedly. So let's test it out first. Repeating it 5 times. So you can just drag this thing. Yeah, there we go, and it looks, yeah, quite natural. You see some spots that is still noticeable, but it's pretty nice from close looking, and yeah, it's very pretty natural. So yeah, let's keep working on it. We can apply our roughness map. So we can just multiply like that, and we can have a scalar parameter. Let me have one more for the specular. I guess it should be a little lower, like 0.3. And maybe we should connect the same UV coordinate node into the texture sample. I'm not sure if it's working. I guess it's not. Maybe we should connect this thing into a specular. Let me check this out. Maybe that's gonna work. Anyway, let me work on normal map this time. So if you want to control the strength of normal map, you should multiply the red channel and green channel, and connect it to B, the scalar parameter, and this time we need append vector node, and one more append vector, and that goes there, and blue channel goes there, and that's what we have here. And let me compile that thing, and you're gonna see the difference real time. So that's done, and now we can see first thing we got is the specular map. Guess I got it wrong a little bit, and also yeah, I forgot to connect it to UVs. Anyway, almost done. So let me control this. I think the specular map is not working currently. So let's test the normal instead. So we can control the normal map strength real time. You can see it's changing. Yeah, it's not that bad. And if you take a look at this, we got nice close-up lookings, and maybe we should create a more maps to get more details and realism, but it's quite nice to look at. You can see there's almost no seams and it's perfectly tiling. You can also just walk on this area. Quite an effective way to get high resolution textures without any money. So that's the way how I created this seamless texture with the photograph I taken. And thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel or like this video or leave a comment. So